Christmas, guys, and welcome to the Geek Hotspot. Now, for many of us, the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life is still fresh on the mind from last night's playing on many TV channels. Others watched it on DVD or digital. If you haven't seen it recently, please go watch it. You're just sorely missing out. It is just a wonderful, wonderful movie. In fact, it's so wonderful, the word wonderful is in the title. Anyway, aside from that tangent on Christmas traditions, I wanted to point something out. It's a Wonderful Life exemplifies a term not many would associate with the movie. And as you've read the title, I'm not going to build this up anymore. It's the butterfly effect. Oh, and of course, spoilers in case you have somehow not seen this classic. Again, if you've never seen it, please go watch it. But first, a little bit of background in case you aren't familiar. The butterfly effect describes how changing one tiny thing can have near innumerable effects. The phrase was coined by meteorologist Edward Lorenz in 1972, and I'm sure you've heard it in this setup of a butterfly flapping its wings can start on one side of the world can start a chain reaction and create a tsunami in Hawaii. Well, of course, meteorologists and everyone can probably debate the accuracy of that claim. The idea has also run rampant in science fiction stories where a character changes one event back in time and then returns to the present to see the ripple effects. And this, my friends, is where we begin. After a review of George Bailey's life is shown as a briefing for his guardian angel, we see Bailey's uncle misplace a large sum of money belonging to George's building and loans office. Anticipating scandal and jail time, Bailey attempts suicide. When seeing Clarence, Bailey's guardian angel, pretending he's drowning, Bailey stops last second to rescue him instead. When Clarence introduces himself, George disputes the fact that he is an angel. Clarence shows just how much he knows about George's personal issues, yet George continues to argue. When George wishes he was never born, Clarence grants that wish and takes the two of them to an alternate timeline that is identical to theirs, except for one thing. George Bailey has never been born. Once they arrive in an alternate timeline, the effects of George's absence have already been made manifest. In the original timeline, George's brother Harry had earned a Medal of Honor for shooting down a kamikaze aircraft. But in the new timeline, not only was the kamikaze pilot not shot down, but Harry is dead. He nearly drowned as a child in the original timeline, but George had saved him. With his absence in the new timeline, the war hero never got to see adulthood. Mr. Potter, a corrupt businessman seeking to monopolize Bedford Falls, had only one thing in his way: George Bailey. Of course, in the new timeline, the wretch's ventures are successful, and Bedford Falls is now made Potterville. When the son of Mr. Gower, the town pharmacist, had tragically died, Mr. Gower nearly mixed poison into children's meds as he was blinded by grief. However, George had been working at the drugstore making root beer floats. Time out for a second. Can I just ask when drugstores stopped selling root beer floats? And who the heck made that decision? I mean, that just sounds like the best thing ever. Granted, there are definitely some CVS's in the world that I would not want to get a root beer float from. But getting one from your small town drugstore with your prescriptions after a long day, that sounds awesome. Seriously, who abandoned that marketing strategy? Strategy. Can't get my words together today, or any day apparently. Anyway, let's get back to the video. George finds the pills and alerts Mr. Gower to the situation. But in the new timeline, the kids were killed and Mr. Gower's life and reputation was ruined. And as for George's wife and kids, well, by association, George's kids had never existed either. And his wife led a gruesome, horrifying life. She became an old maid and a town librarian. My aunt gets infuriated at this scene every year. No, seriously, legit. She crosses her arms and sticks out her lip in protest. I couldn't imagine why an unmarried English teacher would be upset with a movie demonizing an unmarried librarian. But hey, that shows you that this is a good movie. 73 years later, this is the only part that doesn't hold up. Horrified and in tears by the new timeline, George lifts his head to find himself in his own world, rejoicing to have his family restored, Potter held back, and Gower free. The town stand behind the Baileys to pay the debt from the Building and Loans Office. As friends and family begin to sing Auld Lang Syne, that song is hard to pronounce. Let all acquaintance be forgotten. Y'all know the song. George stands comforted as he realizes it's a wonderful life. Yep, that's where it came from. This 1946 Christmas movie demonstrates the butterfly effect better than most science fiction movies that use the concept. You take one man out of the world and the ripple effects cannot be truly evaluated. As many as were shown the movie, and we still have no true grasp on the damage created in George's absence. What about the lives Harry saved? And what about what they would go on to do? What about the kids that Mr. Gower never poisoned? What about what they would go on to do? What about the effects that George's own kids might have had on the world? George had no idea how many lives he had touched, and neither do you. When you say they'd be better off without me, even jokingly, you are saying the biggest lie in your life. This timeless classic isn't just an accidental science fiction icon, but a yearly reminder that the world wouldn't be the same without each and every one of you. Merry Christmas, everyone, and I will see you next time in the Geek Hotspot. Every time a bell rings, Geek Hotspot has uploaded a new video. Too cheesy? Yeah, probably too cheesy. Definitely too cheesy. Definitely not gonna put this into video. No way. No way. No way. Definitely dislike for this. Definitely show some sort of interaction to let me know just how much you disliked that amount of cheese about 30 seconds ago. Definitely dislike this video or comment. Comment would definitely be helpful or while those are around because Kappa's here. Okay. Seriously though, I might not put this in the video. We'll see. We'll see how my mood is. We'll see.